Shalom, y'all. Welcome to Shalom Homestead. We're out here today trying to get in some work. A little bit of snow already trying to come because this is north central Ohio and it's weird. So April 16th today. But you can still in this weather be out doing some planting, so we're going to do what we can today. So we've been preparing these raised beds, at least for these three, and we're going to plant carrots and onions. So you can plant around this area from about March 30th through around April 16th, which is where we're at today. We've had crazy weather. We had a lot of snow yesterday. It's supposed to snow again tomorrow. So it shouldn't really affect the seeds because they're going to stay dormant until they're ready. So they're not going to germinate till over a week. So you don't have to worry about that. We're going to end up planting our onion bulbs that we got down there today as well. So these have been sitting all winter. So I've had to go through and do a little work. As you can see, that was all beat up because we went through and since we're doing carrots and onions, and when you're dealing with root crops that want to go down deep, just using a little hand tiller like this is only going to go down and get about 4 inches, so 3-4 inches. So that's not what we want. So I went ahead and did that on top, go through with a little pickaxe or a hoe, get it turned up nice, and it's a chance for you to kind of see what kind of night crawlers you got going, how things are going, because we just started these last year. So we bought soil from Home Depot, and it really had to have a lot of things added to it. There really just wasn't much life going on in it, and so it's a lot better now. Some of the beds we have compost that we've made, but we're limited on how much we have here, so some of it we bought some organic compost as well. So we added 2 bags of that in here. Every time you're using your raised beds, anytime you take a plant out for the season, whether it's summertime, you're getting ready to go to fall, or put it away for the winter, before you plant again, you need to add more compost to replace the nutrients that was taken out of the soil. So that's kind of what we did today. So after you go through, you beat it up, which is what we did there. We put our compost in it, rake that in, and get it evenly distributed and down in the soil, not just on top, so you're not planting directly in that compost. And then over here is one where we go through after that and we smoothed it out. So this one is completely ready for planting that we're going to do today, and then I'll go through and do the same process with that. Those still need the compost added on the very far end, and we'll just repeat the process. These raised beds do really well for carrots. We have clay soil here. Anything that blocks the roots from going deep, you'll just have deformed, shallow rooted carrots. I mean, they're not going to get big at all if you get anything. So we don't grow our carrots out in the fields here. Well, we do those strictly in the raised beds because with this, it's a sandy loam type soil, which these and the onions really like. They don't have any barrier stopping them from growing, and so they're looking here about 12 inches of topsoil, so we can get nice deep rooted carrots. Very easy to pull them, very easy for maintenance. So the raised beds are a good way to go. We're going to build some more raised beds, and we'll do a video on that to show how easy it is to make the raised beds. But for today, with the carrots, we at least want to get out here. We'll end up showing once we get it planted how to do that. But just wanted to let you know you can be planting right now. Even in a place like north central Ohio, it's still, even though it's late winter, early spring here, whatever you want to call it because of our weather, you can still get out and do some things. So that's what we're trying to do today, is just do the things, and that's what we encourage you to do. So even if it's cold out, get out and get at it. Thanks, y'all. Also, we got one bed of carrots planted, so we're going through to do this bed. So I figured I'd take you through and kind of show you how we do it. Carrots can be a little bit tricky, frustrating for some people. I don't necessarily enjoy planting them, but I found a few things that's worked for me. One thing you can do is we go through and get our rows done first. So I just kind of use the back of a T-post, and I like to have my rows, and I can make sure they're about a ½ inch deep because that's what you're wanting for your depth. But it gives me nice straight lines to go ahead and work with, kind of like some trenches. It says on there to plant your rows on the pack about 12 inches apart. I don't do that. I plant mine about 4 inches apart because they work just fine. I don't know why I would need it that much, especially in a bed. I'm not got to worry about for weeding in between it with a hoe or anything. I can do that with my hand. So that's kind of what we do with the trench. Then what we do, it says to do it about a quarter, or I think a ½ inch each, and then you'll come in and thin it out. That's too much thinning for me. So what I do, they're going to be thinned to 3 inches eventually. So what I like to do is just go in every 3 inches, and I'll just put some in my fingers, as you're going to see, and I'll drop a few in there. And then that way, when I do come to thin, they're already 3 inches. So I might have 4 or 5 of them in there to thin out. that you can just take then with some scissors and cut it. You don't want to thin them by pulling them out by the roots because you might hurt the one you want. We just cut it down to ground level at that point, and it's a lot easier for me to get in and do the thinning, which for me is what I hate doing the most, and I think most people. So the 3 inches, I like make me a little stick, just something easy visual that I can put down so that I know how far that I'm going. Just take a pinch of them in my hands, wherever you're going to start at. So I'm going to start about here. I'm just going to drop a few in. Then I put down my 3-inch marker. I'm just going to let a few more fall in there. For me, it's probably about 4 or 5 that's coming in here, because some of these won't take and germinate. Some you might lose the birds, so I'd rather have a few in there to make sure at least something comes up. And again, just putting these in. And what I like to do to remember where I'm at is I wait until I'm completely done before I come through and put everything in. That way, 1 row at a time, I know that row's completely finished. It's already been planted in there. I've already came back and put the soil over it that it needs, and then I can move on to the next row. And that makes it easy for me. So as we go and do the row, I'll just kind of show you. For time's sake, we'll just go through and start from here. So all you're going to do, especially in a nice soil that's loose like this in a raised bed, you're just going to come in, and from the sides of that trench that you made, you're just going to put it over top of it. And it's as easy as that. After we get them all in, I'll go through and I'll show you what we'll do after that. We're just going to kind of water it in. This was already, we had a good rain before this, so this was already nice and moist. If not, when you were preparing your soil, you would have went ahead and wet that down, but we were fine on that. But once you get it planted, we're going to go through, and then we'll put a layer of water down on there, and then that'll be it.